Hello, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and this is what I thought I was getting, this lovely crochet top. And according to the measurements, I did get the right size. That should fit me. And this is what arrived. And if it's up close to the camera, it looks okay, right? It looks like, hey, that should fit. But if I do this, what is this covering? What is this covering? It actually fits, like, width-wise. It's the length-wise that is the big issue. And I did measure it, and like the website measurements are so off. I did send an email, but didn't get a response, so whatever. Yeah, good thing, I guess, because now we get to do another upsizing tutorial. So that's what we're doing today. I'm gonna figure out a way that I can make this into something I can actually wear. Because like I said, it does actually fit width-wise, it's just the length that is the issue. So let's go down to the studio and get making. Okay, so the very first thing I'm gonna do is have a look in my fabric cupboard here, and I think I have the perfect lace tablecloth. I just have to see where it is in here. Oh, tablecloths are over here. Ah, there it is. Yay! Conveniently on the top. This, I think, will match perfectly with that yarn. Haha, you see what I mean here? This is just about the exact same cream color, so that is absolutely fabulous. So for this hopefully bodaciously boho refashionista project, all you need is your top that is too short and a funktastic vintage tablecloth, or, you know, enough fabric that's gonna wrap around your body to make the bottom of the dress. So let's just make sure that I have enough fabric here. I'm pretty sure I do, though. Okay, so I have decided which way I want this to be, and I'm going to, it's like a rectangular tablecloth, so I'm gonna have most of the length going around my body. And I mean, clearly, yeah, I think I have more than enough to wrap around my body here. And that top ends about there, so go like that. Yeah, oh yeah, that's perfect. And the length is gonna be perfect. If I wanna chop it and hem it, I have plenty of fabric. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take these two ends of the longest sides here, the two ends, and just stitch them together to make a ginormous tube of fabric. So I have my giant tube all stitched together now, and as you can see here, I straight stitched it, and then I zigzagged over my straight stitch, and then I chopped the edge here with my pinking shears because it had those two really thick end seams, like the finished edges, and I didn't want those, and I don't want it to fray, of course, so I used my pinking shears, and then a little bit of overkill here, but I did another zigzag stitch all the way down near to the edge here to really make sure it doesn't fray, because this is quite a delicate vintage fabric and I just really don't want it falling apart when I'm out and about. All right, so now I have to figure out how to put this on top of this to create, you know, a dress. And I'm really not sure if I want to keep all of these little floofy hanging yarn bits. I mean, it is super boho looking, but I don't know if I like them. I think I'm going to put it together and then I'm going to decide, because these are really easy to just carefully cut off at the end if I don't like them. But in order to do that, I can't just flip things inside out and do a quick stitch, right? I have to put this together with the right sides facing out, because if I do it with everything folded over, then I really risk the chance of having some or most of these yarn bits flip up and then get trapped in the seam, and then, you know, that's going to look terrible. So what I'm going to do is first gather up and stitch the edge of my tablecloth tube so it matches up with the width of the top here, and then it'll be a lot easier to, you know, simply stitch it together. So let's figure out how we're going to do this now. So as you know, I really like doing pin tucks, but if you want to know how to gather fabric with your machine, I will link down below to my dress tutorial that has that tutorial in it. But I think I'm going to do pin tucks here, and it's just the easiest for me to do. So I'm just going to do a bunch of pin tucks around the top here as evenly as I can until the tablecloth matches the width of the top. And then I'm going to go stitch it all together, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put it all together. Okay, I have all of my lovely little pin tucks stitched into place here, and it appears that it is a similar width to my top, so now I have to put them together. And again, because it has all of these floofy yarn threads hanging down here, I am not sure how I'm going to get this all together, but I'm going to pop the top of my skirt into the shirt like so. Okay, and also something else that I kind of didn't take into consideration was the bottom part of the shirt is definitely, you know, a zigzag shape here. So it has to be far enough down on the skirt that I can stitch it all together, right? Because I want to follow the diamond shaped bottom here of each of these crochet squares. But you know what? I think I actually managed to get it together. So that didn't take very long at all. That's great. Now I'm going to go pin this together, stitch it together very, very carefully, and then we're going to see what it looks like. Okay, this actually worked, and it looks totally freaking adorable. So I cannot wait to try it on. But I did also take a bit of time, and I hemmed up the bottom edge here, and then, I don't know, it matches so well. I don't know if you can see. I added some lovely lace trim all around the bottom hem, and you know what, guys? It is now time to go and try it on and style it up. This came out too sweet and cute. It is like I'm getting cavities just wearing this right now. I definitely feel like a sweetie petite woodland bohemian fairy in this. But I am curious to know if you think I should leave this fringe on it or not. Like I said, it's, you know, I left it, so it is very, very easy to just trim it off if I want to, but I'm not sure. You let me know what you think. It is definitely a very, very, very adorable outfit. I think so. I absolutely salvaged this very crazy small top that I got, and I don't know, I'm not really trusting measurements anymore, because do you remember just a few weeks ago I got that dress that was absolutely massive that I downsized into 3 different items? I'll link the tutorial down below if you missed it, but like that was a size medium. This is an extra large. It's an extra large, and I don't know who does their sizing or their measuring, but it's not right. Anyway, it's salvaged and it's adorable. And I do think this is a really easy way to, you know, upsize those tops that are too short, definitely. And if you want even more upsizing tutorials, I have literally hundreds of them right here on my channel, and of course even more over on my blog, so be sure to check those out. It's all linked down below for you, super duper convenient. But you know what, guys? It is time now. It is a troll time. So let's go see who's super offended by this refashionista today. Ayo and Guy. And as you know, I handle logisticals and security for Refashionista Sheri. And today I am doing the troll time once again, because why the hell not, right? Okay, so let's just jump right into it. And today's is Haley is the name of our troll. And this is what she got to say.
If you people keep taking clothes that are too big for you to make smaller, then it's not fair for the people who really need those bigger sizes.
This is one, I don't know. I don't know if you people, what is she talking about? Anyways, this is just weird, and pretty much anybody that does any kind of refashioning or upcycling and shares it online has had to deal with this. Like, I don't understand. Why is it that there's a certain section of the population that thinks people are going into thrift stores and, you know, ripping clothes out of people's shopping carts that are too big for them? It's very, very weird for me. Even weirder, though, is when Refashionista Sheri gets these, because she doesn't do a lot of downsizing tutorials, barely any, actually. And if it is something that she's downsizing to make fit her, it's something maybe like the last one, she ordered something online, you know, and the sizing was wrong. And instead of sending it back, she refashioned it. So what's wrong with that? I don't know. But Refashionista Sheri, most of her tutorials are actually upsizing. So this doesn't make any sense, because she's out here helping people make their clothes bigger so they can continue wearing the things that they love in their wardrobe. She's not going out and stealing clothes from people's shopping carts in the thrift store. But again, still doesn't make sense, because does that mean that if you see something in a regular store that's maybe too big for you, you shouldn't get it? Or is that okay because it's a regular store? I don't know. I don't understand. But again, this is somebody else who doesn't know the difference between the twos. And I don't know. Again, stop with the grammar and spelling mistakes. Like, if you can't, I don't know. If you can't say anything or write anything nice, then don't do it. If you don't like something, don't watch it. If you have a problem with something, you know what? Find a solution. Don't go around and that's awful. What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Look at yourself and just think, what am I doing? You know? It sucks. Don't do it anymore. But yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. I don't know. This is obviously somebody else who doesn't understand that thrift stores get a lot of free donations. They get so many that only 15 to 20% of them, you know, make it on the shop floor. And if you've been to a thrift shop recently, they are very, very expensive now. So if somebody's buying something, let them frickin' buy it. They deserve it. If they can afford to go to a thrift store now, let them get whatever the heck they want. And zip it, lady. Just zip it. All right. I think that's all I got to say about that. If you have anything to say about that, and, you know, do you buy things that... I don't even know. I'm sorry. I just can't get my head around this. Are you taking things out of people's shopping carts at the thrift store? Do you do that? Because Refashionista Sheri doesn't do that. So I don't know. Is this a popular thing that people do? And this is why there's so many comments like this? But anyway, you let me know. You let me know. And until next time, from Refashionista Sheri and me, Guy, stay safe. Please stay well. And we will catch you on the zigzag. Okay? All right. See you later.
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.